vulnerability to in your daily leadership when you're carrying the weight of others that maybe they can't see?
It's hard. I mean, one thing I do, and I just did it this morning, is I go out to meet young people as they come to school. As 3 to 4 days a week, I do it, and I did it when I was as young as you, and my kids were younger, and there were 3 to 4 days a week when they wouldn't see me in the morning, because I wanted to be here with these young people, because I need the constant reminder of the child that has not found a family yet. I need that.
Wow.
It is easy to forget when you don't see the problem, right? It's a human condition. We avoid pain. So if seeing children without family is painful, my mind is going to just keep me busy thinking about other things. And then things will go back to the way they were.
And how about with your 1,500 plus staff, man, and multiple programs? How do you make that macro feel personal so everyone from admin or to the front line knows that they matter? Because, right, we all matter in this space. And first, if I'm working for someone, if I know I matter, I then give the same output, right? So how do you go through all that, man? It's not like you have a small organization.
It's really hard. It's really hard. Look, people come to this work for the mission. They stay for the people. I learned that early on. And so a big part of our challenge is to create community. Look, at the entry level, this work doesn't pay well, right? We have amazing people that are working 2 and 3 jobs to do something they love. So the burden on us is to make the work meaningful. And I try to do it for the people that I come in contact with, because I want them to know that it's not just a job, that there's greater meaning, that they're teachers, that they're coaches, that they're agents of life transformation. But to kind of get that to spread through a large organization, you are constantly dependent on that frontline manager to be that person that not only demands great quality work, because we're working with young people and families and there is not a lot of room for error, but can also inspire people into believing that they are both successful and can be greater. Not easy to do. I don't think we are doing that as well as we could. I want to be honest.
You don't look as old as you do, right? Because you have no hair, so I can't really tell. But you've been doing this organization. You mentioned a little earlier, you're kind of showing your age a little bit as you continue to tell stories. But you've been in this organization for 20 years. And a lot of times people don't see how hard it was to get to somewhere. And I want to talk about that. Because anything that you do, no matter what your lifestyle is, you want something, you have to work for it. You have to hear the no's, and through those no's, you got to pick yourself back up and keep going at it. You had 19 interviews.
I did. Well,
what does that look like, man? How does that making you feel on something that you have a passion and love for, but you're getting the door shut a little bit?
It was kind of crazy. Well, look, Children's Village is an old institution, right? We turn 175 years old next June.
Wow.
That in the United States, that makes us one of the older players. And to come before these amazing trustees who had only heard one message for years. And the message was this: it is better to take these kids and put them in our beautiful on our beautiful campus with 200 acres of green grass and, just outside just barely outside New York City. They are so much better here than in all those much more challenging communities where they came from. So that's what they'd always heard. And to have somebody who was way too young then to come before them and say, what are you doing? These young people need to be back in those communities. They need to be with family. They'll find their way forward, right? Our job is to make sure they're safe and get them home, not keep them here. Because the statistics were pretty clear. I mean, kids that grow up in foster care end up in homelessness, in jail, human traffic, just terrible. The longer you stay, the greater the damage. That was not an easy message for them to hear. And it didn't help that the former person was also communicating and saying, hey, what are you guys doing? This guy has written about, closing places down that keep kids. He's like the Antichrist of foster care. uh, I didn't feel great about it, and I remember at my 18th after my 18th interview, the recruiter called me and said, hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? And I said, look, don't call me again. I don't want to leave a place where I'm loved to go to a place where the first time I make a mistake, it'll confirm their opinion of me, that I'm this guy that shouldn't have been hired. And something amazing happened. The chair of the board, who passed away a couple years ago, amazing guy, he called me and he invited me and my family, my wife and my 3 children, to come to his home and spend a Sunday with him. And at some point, he leaned over to my wife and said, I didn't know this. Look, if he chooses to come, I've got his back. And at the end of the day, we spent the whole day. It was a day in February. I remember snow all over the place. He said, look, I really hope you'll say yes. I know this hasn't been easy. And I took a chance. And I said yes. And I said yes mostly because I wanted the opportunity to lead a foster care organization that had a massive history and do something different while talking about race, poverty, success, reminding everyone that our kids have been victimized, but they're not victims, right?
Yep.
A big difference there, big difference.
Wow. And what did you learn? Like, what are you learning? I mean, I couldn't imagine a young leader in this space, right? You already had odds against you. People didn't really believe, but you still took on the opportunity because you believed in yourself more than anything. What are you learning as you're taking on this new journey in your life?
Two things I often think about it. One is you got to build alliances quickly. Somebody's got to trust you.
Yeah.
And that's important, and I did that. I found people in the organization that were willing to hear me and look at the work differently. And the second is money drives the system. It doesn't matter what system it is. Money is a massive incentive. If you can't change how you spend money, you're not going to change the work. We were spending all our money on keeping kids in places that we thought were beautiful, but away from family. We had to make some tough decisions, and man, they were hard. Because we didn't have new money, to take the money we were already spending and spend it on the thing that we believed was going to make a difference, which was finding families, finding foster families, inviting parents back, inviting family groups back and saying, come have a meal with us and tell us who in your huge family would say yes to this young person. That took a lot of money. And changing that spend transformed us.